Thank you, everybody. Good evening. I'm Bob Curnow, Coral Springs Deputy City Manager and Chief Innovation Officer, and I want to welcome you to Innovate Downtown. I'll also be your host for tonight, and I'll be introducing a few things as we go through, as well as the event that's going to happen tomorrow, so hopefully you can come back and join us. I'm very excited to be joining you tonight for Coral Springs' third annual Innovate Downtown, sponsored by the CRA and Figures Wireless Communications, Inc. So let's have it for those two organizations, please. Thank you. Before I introduce our main speakers, to say a few words, I'd like to thank the city officials and dignitaries that are joining us tonight. We have Vice Mayor Joy Carter. Joy. We have City Manager Frank Babinek. Frank. We have Christy Bartlett, the Economic Development Director, and her amazing staff. We have the Director of Communications and Marketing, Liz Martel, and her awesome staff. So, by the way, without these two organizations, none of this would have been possible tonight, so thank you very much for that. Events like this are not possible without the generous funding from innovative and forward thinkers. One of those, Jermaine Beebe of he's the COO of Figures Wireless Communication. It's a Florida-based telecommunications company and cellular phone manufacturer. As we welcome Kendrick Adderley, the South Florida Area Manager for Figures Wireless Communications, to the stage, please check out this short video of the company.
Thank you guys for having us. I want to thank the city of Coral Springs. Jermaine Beebe, he's traveling right now, but he'll be with us tomorrow. I want to introduce you all to something that's very near and dear to my heart, Figures Wireless Communications. What it is we are the only true black-owned wireless network in the country. And we stand proud with that because we're very passionate about what we've done and the story about our CEO, Freddie Figures. Now let me tell you a little bit about Freddie Figures. He's from a little town in Quincy, Florida. I don't know if many people have heard of it. I actually found one person today that heard of Quincy, Florida. But his story is amazing. He was abandoned at birth, became this whiz kid, was given his first computer at the age of 7 years old. And because of his difficult upbringing and everything that he went through, this computer became his actual friend. So he was able to build this computer that was broken at the time that he paid $25 for. It was a Macintosh computer. And I can tell you, I can confirm today that the computer is still working. We actually played with it. So incredible story. We got our FCC license back in 2011. Freddie wanted to pay homage to his adopted parents, and their last name was Figures. That's the name Figures, and that's where we actually got the name from. So 2011, we've had the license. We've now had communications. We have telecommunications. We have our own platform, which means that we run on our own wireless network. So similar to the AT&Ts and the Verizons and the Sprints of the world, we actually run on our own network. We have plans that are from $15 for retired folks all the way up to $165 if you're a business traveler. So check us out, come by the table and ask me all the questions that you want. Again, I'll be happy to tell you more and more about the story and about our company and where we're going and our vision. And I'm just delighted to be here. We have a lot of cool products. We have earbuds And just one thing I have to actually remember to tell you, we have these earbuds that when it goes with our phone that we've actually designed, it translates 96 different languages. So real time, if you're on a phone with somebody from Dubai, it could be Canadian, it could be any different language, 96 different language real times. Once you put our waterproof earbuds in, along with the phone that we have manufactured and designed, it'll translate 96 different languages. So we have some really cool products that I'm excited to tell you about. Again, I'm thankful that you were nice enough, kind enough to allow us to be a sponsor at your event. Enjoy it. Have a good time. I hope to talk to you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Kendrick. Figures Wireless, please check them out. The city of Coral Springs prides itself on being innovative. We have an innovation committee and our own version of the Shark Tank, where employees are encouraged to submit ideas to make the city more efficient, improve customer service, and save money. To date, we've implemented 5 projects and invested over $75,000 in employee innovations, with more ideas to come. One of our innovative projects is right outside the tent. It is a cellular-powered charging station for cell phones that we're going to be having in our one-stop shop inside City Hall, so I encourage you to check that out. Innovate Downtown is all about supporting South Florida creators and entrepreneurs and celebrating the development of downtown Coral Springs. We're excited to introduce you to 5 creators this evening who bring new ideas and innovation to our distinguished panel of judges and guests. These creators will have booths at the city's Unplugged event tomorrow as well, which will be featuring live music, art, and beer from Funky Buddha Brewery, all starting at 6 p.m. So please join us for that event. What's that? No wine. There might be wine. I don't know. Is there wine? Anybody? Well, I know there's beer. It says it on my card. So, before I introduce you to the judges and our 5 selected creators, I'd like to introduce you to our keynote speaker, Lil Roberts. Lil, if you can join me on stage, please. Lil's a South Florida native who prides herself on building customer-centric companies that are built on teamwork, technology, and integrity. A serial entrepreneur with a passion for small business, she is known as an innovator with an enviable ability to foresee market trends. After a successful exit from the manufacturing industry, Lillian serves as the CEO and founder of Zendu, a cloud-based fintech company based in Fort Lauderdale. Zendu, I'm pronouncing that correctly?
Yes, absolutely.
Zendu specializes in online bookkeeping and accounting. You have quite a resume here, so it's got all the rest of these cards. Focused on the small business owner with less than 20 employees. By leveraging technology and proprietary software, Zendu CPAs and bookkeepers have increased the productivity of the traditional workforce by 500%. Lil serves on the regional board and is an active member of the South Florida chapter of Global Entrepreneurs, the organization. A lifelong learner, she fosters a professional working environment where people have the opportunity to continuously grow and develop. Please welcome Lil.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you. Thank you, and thank you, Christy, for inviting me up. And I was going to bring a deck, and I said, let's just talk from the heart. They had said, talk a little bit about the entrepreneurial journey. And so, part of the entrepreneurial journey is cities and events like this. When you get to come out to a city, I lived in Coral Springs for 10 years back in the 80s. And to come out and see what you guys are doing, I am so impressed, and kudos to you guys as a city. So congratulations. It's very warming to see. So I'll give you a little bit about my background and what Zendu does, and then we'll talk about what it's like for the startups and to, how we can best support them and on the journey. And also we'll touch a little bit on technology if you guys like, and I'll keep it to about 10 minutes. So born and raised in South Florida, a really tough childhood. My dad died when I was 10, and I lost a couple of brothers. I was the first one in my family to live past 24, and I didn't grow up in an environment where you were informed about going off to college, and I ended up doing a technical school for a couple years, and I came out and I installed the very first ATM in Publix. And so I'm dating myself, but it was in the 80s, and it was on Sheridan Street. And what happened in that journey as a field engineer is then NCR wanted you to do sales, and so I went ahead and I jumped in and I did sales, but I left NCR and I went to selling copiers. And through that journey, I was exposed to small businesses, and I fell in love with small businesses. I think that small businesses are the backbone of America. We certainly need government agencies, and we certainly need big business. But when you look, there's 30 million small businesses just in the United States alone, and they are the largest employer. So my passion is small business, and I had multiple businesses from product to systems integration businesses to manufacturing. I was in print, and I lived through that. Print got disrupted. And so in 2015, when I exited my last print manufacturing company, I did a personal scorecard. And I had found that in my life, my businesses that I had owned, and typically I would do turnaround businesses, although I'd started a few from scratch, what I found was that you just kind of fell in them, and I wasn't doing anything intentional. And so I said, all right, I'm getting a little older. Let me take a few minutes and let me figure out what the next business is going to be, and let's make it intentional. And with that, I did a scorecard, and I said I wanted to have a technology-based business. I wanted it to be based on helping small business owners, and I wanted to scale the company to 100 million in size, not for the money, but for the challenge, right? We always want to climb a bigger mountain. And I wanted to, instead of building it on my back and the bank's money, which I had done with my other businesses, I wanted to take the journey of VC, of venture capital and investors. And so as I looked at different opportunities, and the other thing I put was I wanted to take an analog industry and take it digital, right? And that's happening in our lives every day. And we're going to talk about a couple of companies and a couple of things happening in the tech world. And so with that, I reflected on what were all my problems in running a small business. And as Christy and I spoke about, one of the greatest challenges for small business owners is that they're doing what they love, making pizzas or building things, but they don't know finances and they don't know how to run their businesses. And so what was really sad to me is that 82% of the businesses that go out of business from lack of cash flow, not from being profitable. So they don't understand that they have too much inventory or too much money on the street, and because of that, they end up failing. And that's so sad, because not only do they fail on their dream, but then there's the team that they have and that they built that are now all of a sudden out of jobs and having a bad lens. And then it's the children that see their parents getting laid off, that think, oh, business is bad. And so it's just wrong all the way around, right? So that's the passion for me behind Zendu, and the time is now to do online bookkeeping and accounting. We've been super blessed to be able to represent South Florida. We won Emerge Americas. We also won Rise of the Rest pitch competition, so much like the creators tonight are going to pitch. It's scary. It's not a lot of fun. It's something that you have to do to get your business out there and to get awareness and also to find investors. But through that journey, we have Steve Case, who's the founder of AOL, that is an investor in our company. And so I'm here to share with you that South Florida, the time for technology and tech startups in South Florida is now. There's so many eyes on South Florida and VCs that are coming in from the big three. The big three is Boston, New York, and California, San Francisco. And they're now starting to go out to the other communities in the country and finding the great startups that, some of what we're going to see tonight that's happening in communities. And if we didn't have Coral Springs Innovate Downtown, these guys wouldn't have the platform to be able to speak to you, everyone tonight, and to share with you what they're doing in their businesses. And so super, super exciting. Just to give you a couple of little snippets on FinTech in general before we turn over to get to hear the great pitches tonight. I was speaking with the Beacon Council a week ago, and they wanted to chat about what is happening in banking. Will the banks disrupt banking, or will other companies disrupt banking? And to share with you, you guys may have read in the news that Honey was bought by PayPal, right? How many of you know about Honey and PayPal? Okay. Okay, perfect, a few people. So Honey is a little browser widget that helps you purchase things cheaper. And they were a startup, and not that many years of a startup, and they sold for $4 billion to PayPal. And the reason why they sold is they sold for the data, right? Everybody wants the data. And so a couple weeks ago, Visa answered what PayPal did, and they bought Plaid. How many of you guys know what Plaid is? A couple? Nobody. So every time that you go and you purchase something somewhere with your debit card or your credit card, all of that information is flowing through a major clearinghouse. And they are gathering that information, and they are predicting what's happening to the humans and what we're doing, what are our trends. And so Visa bought that because they wanted to know what are the trends of the humans with their buying patterns. And so what's happening to us is that we don't have as much of this type of community anymore. It's that we have become a digital world. And so it's important to have technology, and it's important to understand technology, but it's also important to still hang on to the relationships. So it's really great and wonderful tonight to see everybody out to support the startups. In Sweden in 2018, 4,000 people put a little chip right here in their hand. I don't know how many of you guys know that. And they did that for the easy convenience of being able to turn on their Bluetooth coffee makers and the such. And now in Sweden, a lot of people travel on the train system by just waving their hand, by having the chip. And so the world's moving fast. It's not easy. Most days for startups, we feel like our guts are being ripped out, but we love it, right? It's what gets us up in the morning, right, guys? And it's exciting. So great pleasure to be here tonight. I'm very excited to hear about the pitches with the startups. And again, kudos to Coral Springs for supporting the startup community in South Florida and helping us rise back up as an epicenter of technology. So thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lil, thank you again. Very impressive. Before I introduce our creators this evening, let's welcome our Innovation Showcase judges. So I'm going to announce them, and I'm talk a little bit about them. So as I'm doing so, if you please walk to the judges section, that would be great. Cindy Brief. Yeah, applause. Cindy's the president and CEO of the Coral Springs Coconut Creek Regional Chamber of Commerce since 2006. Cindy's an entrepreneur that started several businesses, including Expo Solutions and Events Plus, both of which organize business trade shows and special events throughout the South Florida region. During her tenure with the Chamber, Cindy created numerous innovative programs, including the Professional Women's Alliance, Chamber for Good, the Biz Academy, the Platinum Circle, the Chamber's Education Foundation, in addition to many signature events. Welcome, Cindy. Thank you. Our next judge, Amy Tart. Amy is the owner of Lady in the Mug. Fantastic place, by the way. Thank you, Amy. Amy started her career teaching middle school in Fort Lauderdale, and after dealing with health issues, God led her down a different career path. She decided to open Lady in the Mug, a specialty coffee shop right here in Coral Springs, to use coffee as an excuse to do good. The Mug's mission to count impact, not profit. If you can't find her at the Mug, she's out connecting with others and building meaningful relationships while coming up with new ways to give back to the community, such as visiting local nursing homes, helping veterans, helping those in need for the holidays, and many more. She looks forward to seeing you at her favorite caffeine dealer. Thank you, Amy. Caitlin Gardner. Applause, please. Caitlin's the Director of Corporate Communications and Digital Strategy at Cruise Planners, which is also right here in Coral Springs. In her role, Caitlin helps with executive positioning and branding for Cruise Planners, which has become the nation's largest network of home-based travel advisors with franchise owners in all 50 states. Cruise Planners is an innovative powerhouse and a team that has created a culture that celebrates entrepreneurship. Caitlin is a Coral Springs resident and in her spare time loves to travel, spend time with her husband Kurt, and their 2-year-old son Casey, and they're expecting a baby girl this spring. Welcome. And of course, our final judge, we just heard from her speak earlier, Lil Roberts. For our audience, I'll introduce each of the creators individually. They'll each have 5 minutes to present, and the judges will have a few minutes for question and answer. So with that, let's begin. Our first up is My Cierge by Samela Watson. Can you please come to the stage? My Cierge is an app that's designed to partner with hotels and bed and breakfast properties to empower management with the technology needed to enhance the overall guest experience. It offers on-demand service requests, real-time chats, and local recommendations all in one place. Samela, please.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. My Cierge, as he gave me an amazing introduction, thank you.
You're welcome.
My Cierge is a digital guest book, and the idea is to allow vendors and or B&B hosts to offer experiences digitally. So we are very early stage company. We're currently being beta tested in a small boutique hotel in Miami, of course. But I'm so sorry, guys. So we're 15 units right now, and we're projected to see a 75% month-over-month growth by having another contract into a larger South Beach property, which has about 250 rooms. And then we have another 2 pending contracts in place right now. And then by June, we will be going live with that same boutique hotel that has 6 properties. The idea is to have us white label their technology to allow them to create the overall guest experience for all things at their property. So the problem that My Cierge is solving, we are allowing hotels to remove the unknown. Have you ever imagined as a guest being able to have all of your questions answered before you even ask them? That's what we do. We put real-time location information. We put recommended places. We also allow the host to communicate with their guest via instant chat. So removing the unknown from the guest experience is originally where we started, but as we progressed, we realized that guests want to have access at all times, even if they're not actually using it. The comfort of knowing that they have this information at their fingertips is where My Cierge finds its sweet spot. Our current partners is a few names here, and what we've realized is partners, we consider our partners both hotels and B&B companies. So the 2 of them are partners, and then the others are local vendors. These vendors are important for us to partner with other small businesses because we allow them to offer their services as well. So, for example, Luggage Hero allows guests to store their things after the checkout time. So from a B&B standpoint, imagine having to check out at a certain time, but you still want to explore the city because My Cierge gives you all of these amazing things to do. Now you can store your luggage and not have to lug them around. And then Chat Tours offers cultural heritage tours in the Miami area for almost forgotten about areas such as Overtown or Little Havana. So we have partnerships like this and several more in the making. Behind the scenes is myself and my story. I'm from Chicago, born and raised, and I decided to move down to Miami to explore, of course, this amazing weather. But in that process, working at the hotel industry, I realized that it was something that needed to be connected a little bit deeper from a guest experience standpoint. So I started the journey of trying to understand how my expertise can come into play, and I was able to come in contact with my co-founder, Marco, who also he comes from a technical background, but also has hospitality experiences. So combining we have over 25 years of hospitality experience together, and combining those years of knowledge, industry, insight, we've been able to come up with My Cierge. My Cierge is bootstrapped, and so we've worked overnight actually while we built the platform. The platform is a 3-part system. It's a guest app, a staff app, and then the dashboard. So should we be able to win this competition, you may wonder, how will we use the funds? And I think that's important to understand because, as I said before, we're bootstrapped. So all of our, we get up and go to work just so we can ensure that My Cierge is being invited on stages like this. So we'll be able to reach 15 more clients. We have not spent any money on marketing. Okay, thank you. Time's up. Yes? Q&A? Okay.
Yeah. Could you walk us through the business model, the revenue?
Absolutely. So My Cierge is a B2B. So our customer is the property manager or the hotel, and it is a SaaS subscription model. So they'll pay us per unit per month.
How much?
$5 per unit per month.
My question would be, how would hotels feel about you guys being a middleman in between? If there's a complaint and then you're like an outsourced third party, wouldn't they want to keep that in-house dealing with their brand and like the integrity of their services? Like, how would you keep their brand and integrity intact as a third party?
So My Cierge actually just provides the technology for them. They are still responsible to actually facilitate and promote engagement within their guest experience. So for example, their PBX operator or their front desk will continue that communication with the guests. We just provide that information digitally. So now you're not waiting in line to ask a question. You're not having to call the phone. You see all the services that the hotel already offer, and you make the request, and it kind of streamlines the overall operations.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Who do you see as your competitors?
There are a few that's doing it, and they've raised some money. So one of them is Hostfully, and then another is You're Welcome, but that's more of a European company. Just to give some insight, the vacation rental market is huge. They have like 60% of the European, have 60% of the market. So they are a mega player, but they have not totally moved to the U.S. yet. So,
And what makes you different?
the fact that I have industry expertise, and that's over 15 years myself, gives me a heads up on things. And then the services that we're focused on is more like a social connection. So we're not just focused on what to do, but we want to make sure that the engagement is always there. And we're looking out for both the staff side and ensuring that they feel that this is not overwhelming to their already existing workload. So with all those aspects, from my experience, I was able to create something a little bit more user-friendly.
I have a question regarding, so you said it was $60 a year, $5 a month, correct?
Yeah, $5 a month per unit per month. So if they have
Okay.
25 units, then they pay $5 for those 25
And the
units.
unit you're defining as one of the three-part systems, or?
The unit is the room. So if a hotel has 25 rooms, they're
Okay.
paying $5 for those 25 rooms.
Okay.
If a property manager has 2 apartments that they're renting out with 1 bedroom, then that's each unit.
Okay. And then, so what is like the long-term financial goals then? Because it is a relatively low price point, and I'm sure that's to stay competitive. And you know, other alternatives I could imagine. You know, if it's a small B&B, maybe a texting app or something like that. So you want to give that dashboard to add value. But what is the long-term financial goal if at such a low price point? Is it volume?
So it is volume, right? Because we're not trying to necessarily compete with a text messaging app. We do all things in one platform. So you communicate, so you engage, connect, and create experiences within My Cierge. So to create value for both a host and then small boutique hotels. And then with that, we believe that we can grow and we're okay with quietly growing into the masses, but there are ways that we can help streamline. On average, we save our guests about 15 hours a week from their workload by using our software.
The guest saves 15 hours a week, you said?
I'm sorry, we save
The hotel, okay.
Yeah, we save our customers 15 hours
Okay.
a week because everything is in one platform. They're not having to go from email
Right.
to text message.
And is that what's on the dashboard? Is that like, what's the value of the dashboard for the
So
hotel?
the dashboard is more like to keep your information up to date because our system is location based. So we're not going to put information for a Miami property for the city over here. So they can keep their pictures up to date. They update their logos. Each app is specific to that property, and the admins can manage that.
Great.
Thank you all for your time. If there's no more
Yes,
questions,
thank you.
thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you, Samela.
Thank you.
My Cierge. Okay, next I'd like to introduce Jason Matalk from Cowblock. Let's hear it. Cowblock stands for Knock on Wood Block. It's a small wood block that's used to knock on when somebody says, knock on wood, when speaking of one's own good fortune or to ward off bad luck. The block can be customized with engraving on both sides.
I wrote that?
Right, you wrote that.
Oh, wow. That sounds good. Where's the, can I use the clicker? Okay. That's the first screen? All right. My name is Jason Matuk. I've been a resident of Carriage Point for 23 years now, and my business is Cowblock. So the concept. So I'm a real estate agent, and I've been a real estate agent for 4 years, and one thing I noticed in a lot of the houses was that basically there's a lack of natural wood products. It's mostly like quartz and granite and these kind of products, these kind of materials. So one day it was like a slow year and I was like, I need to get a hobby. I'm tired of playing video games. So I decided to learn woodworking. And when I learned woodworking, I realized, wow, so now I can build wood products and there's a lack of these materials in these houses. And just with all of that blending in my head, I came up with an idea for an item that you can knock on when you need to knock on wood. So the process is fairly complicated. So it starts off, as you can see, I get a raw piece of lumber from like a lumber yard, or I'll purchase it from a store that's just selling it out the back. I take it, I put it through a Pilar system which flattens the wood. I then cut it into planks, and then I cut it into squares, which then, so that's the Pilar machine flattening the wood for me. So once that happens, I cut it into planks, cut it into squares, cut in holes for the legs, put the legs in, and then I varnish it. I then engrave it if the customer wants, and then I ship it out once it's done. I'll let this ride so you can watch it. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so that's me cutting the pegs for the legs. And I get those pegs at Home Depot, so that's an easy thing for me to come and get. All right. And then the possibilities. The great thing about this product is that there's tons of possibilities. For instance, Lady in the Mug. You guys have like a pretty strong logo, so. No, that's mine, but yeah, of course. So you could put a logo like Lady on the Mug on there, and what that does is it really opens up to a lot of people who can accept this gift. It's not just like a gift for a specific type of person. You can customize it to businesses or whatnot. And which leads me to the next point, the consumer. So the consumers that we have are basically people. The first one is someone who has everything. So I know everyone here knows somebody that when it comes time to give them a gift, you're like, what do I get this person? They have everything in the book, so they just buy it from themselves, or they just don't need it. This is perfect for them because if you know just a little bit about them, you can customize it to who they are, and I'm sure they would love it, and they definitely don't have it. The return's everything person. So the person, when you give them the gift, they're like, oh, do you have the receipt on you? Because just in case. And they try to return it. They can't return this, number one, because it's personalized. And obviously, if they don't like it, I'd do like an exchange, but they really can't take it to a store and return it, so you're safe that way. They'll always have to have it. And then the minimalist, so somebody who doesn't want too much on their desk at work, but still wants something to like represent something they love, or a sports team or whatnot. This is great for them. It's very tiny, it's compact. And then the prolificate, which I didn't even know what that word meant, but it's the antonym to minimalist, which what I'm trying to say is that the consumer is everybody. It's family members, customers, clients, coworkers. Anytime you have to gift somebody, I can't think of an occasion where it doesn't fit for them. And then what's next for us? Really, two things. So this morning I tried making a cow block for the people who were judging us, and my machine broke. So I definitely need to get a better laser engraver because I use a little $200 one from Amazon. I would love to do bulk buying of lumber. It's very inefficient to go to lumber yards and scrap for pieces of wood to then make a set. I'd rather just have a constant source, so buy it in bulk and then make them. Money towards marketing. I would love to do some Facebook advertising. Even though it's cheap, I still have a hard time investing into it just because I don't have the funds at the moment to facilitate something like that. And then an official website. I'm only selling it on Etsy, and I'd love to be able to have like cowblock.com lead to a official website where they can purchase it directly from us, and that way it would establish brand and make us stand out if someone were to copy us, but I don't really see that happening. And then I think that's it. Yep, that's it. It's pretty simple. Okay, great. Let's go. I bet there's questions.
How long does it take you to make each one?
Great. So how it starts off is when I take that original piece of lumber, it's not just like one piece of lumber per block. I can make 70 at once. So what the process of originally getting the wood takes me a day or two, but when I get the wood, I spend an 8-hour day cutting 70 of them. So once I cut those 70, I have that to sell. And that's how I've been doing it. Got really loud. I sell it, yeah, so I get the 70 and then I'd fulfill orders as it goes. So let's say I have all the 70 already made and somebody orders one, the time to take it from just a plain block to sending it out is about 45 minutes. Once it's varnished, it sits overnight and then I ship it the next day. So I would say, truthfully, 1 day, but 45 minutes of labor for each one.
And what is the price?
So the price, so to sell it, if you get it engraved, it's $34.99 per cow block. That's just because I have to engrave it and I factored in my labor and whatnot. But if I also sell them, I like to sell them blank because it's even more minimalist that way. And it's very simple and people will ask you what that is. And that version is $29.99.
I have a question. With the minimalist, are there any other functions like a wooden box or something like or is it just totally a block? Like
It's just
this
a
is the
block of
design?
wood.
Okay.
Yeah,
For those who can't see it in the back,
it's
here it
just a block of wood.
is. Cool.
But you guys also bought pet rocks with googly eyes glued
Yeah.
onto them, so I want to hear it. All right.
So piggybacking off of her, how are you planning on marketing it so that
Oh.
people don't say, why am I paying that much for a block?
Exactly. So what I plan to do, I was thinking of what I would like to do with marketing. I would not just like post pictures and stuff. I would like to actually I wanted to make a commercial really bad. I love being on video and I love doing video. I have like a YouTube channel and stuff, so I like that whole concept and I would like to make a commercial explaining it. So it kind of starts off with like maybe a 1-minute skit of what, like in a situation where it would apply, and then basically me talking about how it's made, because you may look at that and think, yeah, I can go get a block, but if you saw the work like that, me in the garage over there doing that process, it's really complicated. Like so many things could go wrong, and you have to make everything perfect. It can't rock. It takes a lot of effort, and even somebody who knows something about woodworking would be able to understand. Like it's actually hard to make it perfect like that. So I think if I made that kind of video and educated the clients, they would understand.
I like that answer. I know I'm not supposed to like give feedback
Oh,
and everything, but I like that because just like Gary Vee with wine, how he took his dad's company, like you are your brand, and I always say that about me. So you're the difference maker. So I really like that your answer was, I can show how I make it. I can add my personality. So I really like your answer.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't want to be Simon Cowell.
No, I'm a fan
I'm
of
the nice
Gary Vee.
judge.
Yeah.
What does it look like at scale? So how much can you get the unit economics down to
Yeah.
on this?
So realistically, I can't scale that. Like, let's say that somebody, like, let's say this got on Shark Tank, because I applied for Shark Tank as well. But let's say I got onto there, and Kevin O'Leary was like, all right, great, we're in. I would have to go, okay, great, let me go to a company that can manufacture these, because for me to make, I had a guy last Christmas order 10 at once, and that took over my whole life. It's a lot to do, and plus, like I said, I'm using a little engraver on Amazon, so I can only do one at a time, and the engraving, yeah.
But have you visited the projections on this? Have you looked at it?
What
and
it could be?
Right. In
Yeah.
other words, like if you're doing $34.99,
Yeah.
I'm thinking you're spending an hour to do this, and
Yeah.
that's not counting material.
Mhm.
And so, can you get this to where it'll cost you $1
So
or $5?
I'll give you, yeah, so I'll give you my cost right now, not including my labor, and then I'll give you the labor. So if I'm just thinking just numbers for how much it costs, it's $2 per block for the wood, and then I have to buy varnish, and to make it glossy, I have to buy that in quantity, and that makes about 100 of them. So I calculated my cost to $750, not including my labor, and then I figured for my labor, not including doing it in bulk, because when I do it in the bulk, I can make 70 at once, and that's just me by myself. So I figured like the labor, if I'm calculating it from when I take a blank block to an actual, the finished product, that takes me about an hour, like I said. So I gave myself minimum wage. I gave myself $8 an hour, so I figured $15 an hour for $34.99, so it's like half and half.
But could minimum wage actually create that? Because you're saying that it takes
Yeah.
special leveling and
Yeah.
everything else. Would it be a craftsman?
No, so if I had, there's labor engraving machines for $2,000, and they could do that in 10 seconds. The engraving part is what takes me the actual hour. Putting the legs, varnishing it, all that takes me 10 seconds, but actually engraving it takes 45 minutes to an hour depending on the design. That simple design took me 45 minutes. So it's a huge process. The ones that they use commercially, you put the block under it and it goes, and it's instantly done. So I can do 10 in like a second if I had that kind of machine. So I can see myself, I see it in a factory, and plus if you're a woodworker, I know I said earlier they understand the process, but it's also, if you're a woodworker, you would see how simple it would be to make that at scale, because it's just, people sell chairs at commercial scale, so a wood block with 4 pegs wouldn't be a huge challenge, I feel.
And then the customization and personalization is obviously a huge trend
Yeah.
right now, because you're right, people aren't going to throw anything out that has their name or anything like that. How does the design, are you designing the design, or are they templates that
So-
you can copy and paste?
How it works is on Etsy, they send me, do you have to stop? Oh, I was getting to a good part. Okay, yeah, on Etsy, they send me a JPEG, like a picture, and they'll say, I want this, and I literally take that picture and drag it onto my software,
Right.
and it just mirror copies it onto the block. It's that simple.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Cal Block. All right, our next creator this evening is Vitruvian VDR with Ileana and Andrea Del Risco. Please welcome to the stage. Vitruvian VDR is a virtual dressing room software. With just 2 pictures, the software creates a realistic avatar that captures each user's unique shape and simulates how garments look on them. This proprietary algorithms can mimic users' exact body shape by measuring all body points. It also simulates fabric behavior to see how close fit one's exact shape. Ladies?
Thank you. Hi, I'm Andrea, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Vitruvian, a virtual dressing room for online shopping.
Hi, I'm Ileana, and I'm the COO and co-founder. So have you guys ever bought something online, clothing, and it didn't fit? Yeah, a lot of people have this problem. And it's because when you're shopping online, you don't know if the clothing that you're looking at is actually going to fit you. So last holiday season, I had to wait in an hour-long line at the post office to return the clothing I just bought over Black Friday. And it's because when you're shopping online, you don't know if the clothing's actually going to fit you. And it's around 60% of online shopping returns are because of wrong fit. And not only does this negatively affect consumers, but returns because of wrong fit cost retailers $62.4 billion annually. Vitruvian is a virtual dressing room that takes away the uncertainty of finding the right fitting garments online. Our software will be integrated into the retailer's website, where consumers can choose to virtually try on an item. They'll be redirected to our app, where they'll be asked to input weight and height information, as well as to take a front picture and a side picture. And then the user will see how the different garments in different sizes will fit them. So we were able to automate the 3D model rendering process that allows us to capture each person's unique shape, and completed the first draft of the clothing simulation. So while developing the virtual dressing room, we wanted to create relationships with retailers sooner, so we also created a simpler size suggestion tool that can be easily integrated into a retailer's website by adding a single line of code. So with using our measuring technology, if shoppers don't know their measurements, they can obtain them by uploading 2 pictures of themselves and using our virtual measuring tapes, which allows us to match them with their right size.
So why us? We have the right technical skills and industry experience to make this work. We're a team of 3 sisters who constantly experience this problem with online shopping, so we decided to build a software that solves it. I graduated from Georgia Tech with a degree in industrial engineering and a minor in computer science, and I have 4 years of experience implementing e-commerce software solutions with large apparel retailers. Ileana studies finance and marketing and has experience in market research, financial analysis, and UX design. And Catalina studied textile technology at NC State and has worked with brands like Vans and Patagonia in their materials and research department. We are recent alumni of Babson's WinLab Accelerator, and we were also a semi-finalist in their ePitch competition. We participated in our competitions like SUPEX, and we were one of 5 finalists selected out of 400 applicants to pitch at the Girls in Tech Conference in San Francisco. Currently, there's no competitor dominating the market, and most of our competitors just Photoshop an image of an outfit onto that person's body. TrueFit is our biggest competitor in the size suggestion tool space, but they require users to answer a long list of questions just to try and estimate their size. Our product is different in that we obtain and use the person's actual body measurements. Perfectly is our biggest competitor in the virtual dressing room space, but they use generic avatars that don't really look like the users. We capture measurements at all body points and use that to create a 3D model that shows each user's unique shape. With our algorithms, we're able to show shoppers a more accurate and realistic representation of how clothing will actually look and fit them. And while our competitors have teams of at least 10 people, we have achieved this with our small team of 3 founders. We will be selling our software to online apparel companies using the combination of licensing and subscription models. For large apparel companies, we'll offer the option to license our software, and based on my experience working in the software industry with large apparel companies, deals can range between the hundreds of thousands to millions. We'll also offer a product on a subscription basis, where the price will vary depending on retailer sales volume and their requirements. Using the $62.4 billion cost to retailers annually, if we charge 10% of that cost and capture 10% of the market, our potential revenue is $624 million.
So with Vitruvian, we're helping retailers to decrease their returns, increase their sales, and bring consumers into the shopping experience of the future. Thank you, guys.
I've actually used the TrueFit technology, and it is a pain because like you have to answer all these questions. So you're saying you just take a picture of
Yes.
yourself, and
Yes.
then you don't have to answer any of those questions.
Exactly, and it actually gives your exact measurements. So
Wow,
it's not
that,
yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
So have you approached anybody, any retailers, and have you had any interest?
Yeah, so we're actually implemented in one retailer right now as our beta, like live. We can show you guys, like we were gonna do a live demo, but with time we weren't sure, but we can show you guys at the booth. And we just implemented this week, and we're seeing good results. They like it. It's very user friendly. It looks good.
Yeah.
And then we're also in talks with another company called Fashion. They're kind of like a Stitch Fix.
That's great. I love seeing women using technology too.
Thank
So, yeah.
I have a question regarding the measurements. Like, do you have a relationship with the retailer, and they're providing you the measurements? Is it a database connection? How does that work?
So the body measurements we have figured out ourselves by taking some data and doing research. But the clothing measurements, we will get that from the retailer. They usually have something called tech bags where they have the information for each garment, the measurements, the type of fabric. So for the clothing simulation, we will need that from them, and then we match that with each person's body measurements to simulate the clothing.
And for the size decision tool, that one's simpler, so we can just use the size chart. We don't need the CAD models or
Yeah.
the tech pack.
2 questions. One, any proprietary? Are you doing any patent pending on your algorithms and things along those
Yes.
lines?
So with software, it's really tricky to know like what you can or cannot patent. So we wanted to wait until we got more funding to do it the right way with a good patent lawyer to make sure that our intellectual property is protected. Because once it's out there, other people can see it and expand on it. So we want to make sure we do it the right way at the right time.
Patent
But
pending.
you have to, yeah.
Yeah, patent pending, you don't have to divulge, and you can stay patent pending for a while. You just want to get out there and claim it first.
Yeah,
I'm
go
happy
ahead
to
and do that.
connect you to a VC backing lawyer
Oh,
for
okay.
that.
Yeah.
They'll be great.
Okay. Second question would be on the measurements. So like say you go out and you sign Macy's. How do you get all of their various brands that they sell, that database information? that you were leaning towards? So is there a general clearinghouse for it, or does Macy's have to provide you with all their SKUs that they upload?
So usually bigger brands, when they manufacture, they have to have a tech bag in order to do that, and that requires all the specifications. So for bigger companies, they will have that, and then we will take that information to be able to simulate the garment behavior. For smaller ones, but I don't know if Macy's works with smaller ones, they might not have that information, but we could do it by using our similar technology, taking a picture and figuring out the measurements ourselves.
So it varies, especially with like the department stores, because they have different brands, and yet to implement it wouldn't be all at once, right? So it'd be the brands that they have a relationship with that can provide us those tech packs and CAD models, which a lot do have, like with Vans and Patagonia.
Can you go direct for that? Can you get that? So then now the retailers are coming to you because you already have the database?
Yeah, that's something we can do. We haven't done it yet, but it's something we can do.
I have a question regarding, the plus size or the big and tall market. Are you guys reaching out to them as well? Because those specialty niche areas also have trouble fitting clothes sometimes.
Yeah, we are. Our algorithms, like, it works with all body types. So we just have it live right now. So I think other retailers are more comfortable trying it out when they already see it live. So we have reached out, and we're still, in that process. But I think now is when we'll get a lot more traction with that.
Good luck to you guys, and yeah, definitely take her up on that offer, because
Yeah.
you guys need to get that patent pending status to protect yourself.
Thank
well
you.
done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Ileana and Andrea. Great job. Our next creator this evening is Jonathan Woods, LED Accents. Jonathan, I think he's got some things you gonna bring anything up, or are you just gonna point to it over there? Awesome. LED Accents provides a bicycle rider with a fun and safe feature. The bicycle is illuminated with waterproof LED lighting and mounted control that allows the rider to select 16 different colors and 4 different modes. All wires are installed internally to protect them from damage. Jonathan?
Is there a clicker? Thank you. Hi, my name is John Woods. The name of my company is LED Accents. Florida has one of the highest rates of bicycle accidents in the nation. We have over 100 annual deaths of bicycle accidents, and the highest average of annual cyclist deaths per million residents compared to any state. That's compared to California and New York. We're higher than them. Research shows that common causes of bicycle accidents were failure to yield by 20%. Drivers overtaking a cyclist, 20%. Both those equal 50%. Now, on January 24th, we don't like to show these type of things, but these things do happen. A cyclist was killed 10 minutes from my home. Common causes of bike injuries are back pain, neck pain, damaged internal organs, head and brain injuries, spinal cord injuries, and at best, broken bones. Cities are attempting to make a difference by educating drivers, providing well-marked bike lanes, but yet bicyclists still get run over. And this is 50% of the accidents. Now, how can I make this better? LED lights. Why LED lights? LED lights are 90% more effective than incandescent lighting. LED lights also stands for illuminating diode. And what's great about an LED light is they have directional lighting, and they also have heat distribution where the LED heat it goes out naturally. And the great other thing that they don't burn out. They slowly dim over time. Now, currently do-it-yourself kits on the market, they predominantly weave in and out of the spokes. And I've seen a lot of other ones that wrap around the frame, but what makes these different from what I do is the fact that I bottom light my bikes. Because you can see in the pictures here that they show when all the lighting is right there, it's primarily on the ground and not in the rider's face. So therefore, it's for a safety factor, it's a 360 degree of light that you can see around the person. What sets me apart from the rest is my attention to detail. It's very important to me. I treat every bike as if of my own. I use waterproof LED RGB lighting, mounted control with 16 different colors in 4 different modes, internal wire installation, a lithium-ion rechargeable battery, and custom installation to fit any frame. As you see here, you can see some of the pictures as well. And I've also adapted a light in the rear, so when the bikes are on, it's a safety light, so it's always red, so the drivers can see them for a safety feature as well. And this is another bicycle frame that I had lit up. Basically, you can customize these lights to any bike. So the other night I was coming home and I saw kids skateboarding in my neighborhood, and then you could hardly see them. They had black clothes on, and I was like, wow. So I came up with this really cool idea to edge light a skateboard. And what I did is I decided for greater visibility, like if you were riding this and you saw on the road, you could see this because it's 360 degrees, the angle. So anyone can see the side of it. Now, it also has lighting on the bottom, but I see a lot of other people that just have the illumination on the bottom. But because the edge is lit like that, you don't have any issue. This is very visible. If we were to take it out in the night, you'd really be able to see it. Now, technology allows us Technology allows us to socialize, learn, solve problems without ever leaving our chair, resulting in greater weight gain. Genetic factors, 63% of people in the world are overweight, but that's because of genetic factors, unhealthy eating, or just lack of physical exercise. Oops. Now, how can I get them to move? LED lights. I hope my products will inspire exercise, promote healthy activity and maintain proper weight, be visible to vehicles and for greater safety, encourage outdoor life experiences, and increase face-to-face interactions. My name is John, and the name of my company is LED Accents, and I'm making the world a brighter place. Thank you.
So I guess first question is, how much do they cost?
Well, my product is $250. It's more of a service. You would take your bike and it can be dropped off, or I can pick it up, and then I customize it, and then I bring it back to you, or you can pick it up.
And how much would it be if they were to buy the do-it-yourself lights? Do you know?
Oh, yes. That kit is $30.
So how would you justify to someone the difference? I know you're saying it's a craftsmanship and all that, but how would you market the difference if someone said, well, I would just do it myself?
Well, the difference is a lot of people do want to do it themselves, and there's people that don't want to do it themselves. But I feel that if they were able to do this, that they would want to be able to. Oh man, I apologize.
No, you're good.
A little tricky. The reason what they want to do is, so the kits are $30, yes. But I feel that mine is brighter than their kits, and mine don't let the light shine in your face, as you saw in some of the pictures.
Thank you.
And they do more bottom lighting, and for greater safety.
What's your plan with the business? Is it a local lifestyle business, or do you see this as something that you could scale, and how would you scale it?
I could do 4 to 5 bikes a week, and that would be about $5,000 a month. And I see that what I'd like to do is train someone to do what I do as well, and that way I could mass produce.
Have you sold any so far?
Yes, I have. I have sold 8 bikes to friends and family, and I've built a total of 15.
And how are you getting your customers?
Word of mouth, and basically when I ride the bike at night, because that's the enjoyable part.
How long does it take you to do it?
About 3 days.
And if you did win the money, what would you do with it to grow your business model?
I would use it to be able to buy product. I could buy product in bulk. That way I could lower my costs for the consumer and also myself. And then I'd also like to be able to take the money, and you're looking at the first prototype. This was designed in my garage. As many people design things. But this, I would like to take the money to be able to brand it as well.
And what's your cost for the materials?
$125.
And do you have somewhere that you might be able to get it for less? I know you
Yes.
said maybe in bulk, but
Yes, AliExpress or Alibaba. One is you can buy multiple units, and one is only onesie-twosies. And you can e-pack it from China in 4 days and get it here. Well, not right now, but unless you have.
not get coronavirus.
Yeah, no. And you'd want to use Lysol to clean your product when you get it, because it'll kill that virus.
Have you tried marketing it at all on social media or?
No, I put a couple pictures here and there on Instagram, but nothing predominantly. Like too many pictures, because I don't want anyone to basically take my idea and run with it, because I know that's how it works.
Are there any competitors in this space?
No, as far as the way I'm doing it, there's none.
Great.
And I'm always doing different interventions to the bikes. I'm always creating different styles. You'll see some more tomorrow night. I couldn't bring them all tonight.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Excellent job. And last but certainly not least, we're going to ask Eric Siverson to please come to the stage and Parcel
A
Scan.
little bit. Oh, well.
Parcel Scan software audits at FedEx,
Thank you.
UPS, and DHL shipments to ensure that they are
Designing
delivered
this.
on time. If a package
are good.
arrives
Your
even
presentation
1
was
minute late, they get their customers back 100% of the cost of each late delivery. 7 to 10% of all packages are delivered late, and the software files the refund claim for the client and deposits to their account. Sir?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
How you doing? My name is Eric Syverson. I'm founder of Parcel Scan. We're a shipping audit software, and what we do is we have customers that are shipping packages with carriers like FedEx, UPS, and DHL. And what's unique about these companies is they all have a money-back guarantee for late deliveries. Meet Bob. Bob is the owner of a Shopify online website that sells women's shoes. Bob has a customer that has an event on Saturday night downtown, needs a pair of shoes to match her dress. He says, no problem. I'll ship it with FedEx. I'll get it to you Saturday at 10:30 in the morning delivery. Bob pays $25 to ship the package FedEx to his customer. Saturday rolls around, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the package still has not arrived. The customer calls and asks Bob where her package is. Bob contacts FedEx, tries to find out where the package is. It's still on the truck. It will deliver today, but it did not make the morning delivery. They apologize. Next step, Bob calls his customer back. Don't worry, your package is coming today. Here's a 20% off coupon for you to come back on your next purchase. A couple things can happen here. One, he loses the customer completely because she had an issue and won't come back. Costs him the acquisition cost of gaining that customer. The 20% off, if she does purchase again, he will lose that 20% off the next purchase. Or third is that this customer goes to buy a pair of shoes, returns these shoes, and he pays the shipping to come back to him. So in this case, Bob doesn't know, and what most customers don't know, is that they're eligible to receive that $25 that they paid for that shipping back. So what Bob needs is he needs Parcel Scan. Parcel Scan allows him to sign up within 3 minutes. He puts his business profile information in, he enters his FedEx and his UPS login information, and it's a secure platform. Right then and there, Parcel Scan can now track every single package that he ships out. What we do is we track every package, and just like this one that was late, if it's 1 minute late, it qualifies for a 100% money back refund. We file the claim on Bob's behalf and get that money deposited back into his account directly from FedEx. We charge him 35% of the refunds that we find for him, nothing else. We're performance-based. We have no setup costs. We have no monthly fees. We only get paid when we find them refunds. Bob, let's say he ships 1,000 packages a month. Bob pays about $300,000 a year in shipping costs. Bob would be eligible, based on what we find is about 7 to 10% of all packages are delivered late. Bob would qualify for up to $30,000 a year in potential refunds. Bob can use that money to reinvest in his business, pay off his debts, hire employees, or even subsidize his wife's online shopping habits. Over $3 billion a year goes unclaimed from potential refunds. No one's going after this money. Right now, what we're looking to do is we're looking to build a plugin for platforms like Shopify, Magneto, BigCommerce. These are the largest platforms in the world that allow companies to easily set up a store and sell products online. We're looking to have a widget that would instantly connect to their business and allow us to start getting refunds for them. And while there's many customers and many companies that are like Bob, that are doing these kind of numbers, there's also companies that are doing millions and tens of millions of dollars a year with larger potentials for refunds. Thank you for your time. Yes.
Do you have customers today?
Yes, I do.
And what guarantees you the visibility of them getting their money back? How
I'm
do you
sorry?
know? How do you know that the customer got the money back?
Oh, right away once we file that, once the system notices there's a late refund, we file the claim, and within 7 to 10 business days, they automatically get a notification. We have a dashboard that they can sign in, see all of their refunds. They get a notification they receive the refund. At the end of 30 days, we send them an invoice that shows them all the refunds that we've gotten for them, and then we bill them 35% of that money.
And then how do you collect your money from them? Because
We have them set up their credit card when they sign up. So at the end of every month, when we send them that report, we bill their credit card for those payments, only for the money that they've received.
Is it an app or is it a website or how are you reaching them?
We are a website, but once a customer enters their login information, it connects to their online billing center. So it automatically reads all their packages that go out, and it tracks it from the day of shipping to the day that it's supposed to complete on time.
So I know myself, I don't like to put my credit card information if I don't have to. Is there any way that you can get the money directly and just pay them out their percentage of it?
You know, we do allow customers to bill and then pay. We built this as an automated system, so we hope to, and we haven't really had so much pushback on credit cards being listed in there, but we do have hope to be a completely automated business that can just work automatically and just bill automatically.
Thanks.
So businesses are literally leaving money on the table. How come there's a problem with awareness that people just don't even know about this?
They're not telling you that, right? I mean, you know, in this example, even they show you, the customer, they apologize to the customer, but unless a person actually files a claim, most people don't know it's late, first off. What happens is if there's an issue and they hear about something, any customer who's filed for a refund, it's a hassle because there's a lot of paperwork involved, there's a lot of proof involved in order to get that refund. So even customers who've actually filed a refund in the past don't even want the hassle of going after that money again.
So your system prevents the hassle, if you will, because it automates the paperwork and
Absolutely.
the claims because they're logged in
Correct.
under their FedEx account.
It's a set it and forget it software, so once they sign up, they never have to really do a thing again. Yes.
Your background and competitors in the marketplace doing this.
So right now I have an e-commerce business. We're in the corporate park, and we actually built this for ourselves originally. We have an office in China and Shenzhen, and we're bringing in express air packages all the time. So 3-day air, and if it's not there by 10:30, it's $700-800 a piece. So we did about $60,000 in refunds for ourselves the first year. But I've been an entrepreneur for the past 20 years, and in Coral Springs actually. And what was the second part to your question? I apologize.
Competitors in the market.
So there are a
Who
couple
else?
competitors in the marketplace. There's a couple out there, and what I will tell you is this: is that the awareness and I go to trade shows throughout the year, and I go booth by booth of companies that are shipping products, nobody knows that these companies are available. I might run into one person at those shows that might have heard about a software like this. And usually it's it's a pretty, it's a no-risk idea. We're having them come on and we're performance-based completely.
Go-to-markets, I'm sorry. Your go-to-market strategy? Could you talk a little bit about your go-to-market strategy?
Yeah, I mean, we're actually, right now what we're looking to do is really, build onto these platforms and then start really marketing and driving those customers and people who are on these platforms existing now on Shopify to really start just using our plugin to automatically get them the refunds. We're trying to tap into their user base.
How soon until you have the plugins, and what platform are you building your tech on?
So right now, I mean, we've actually partnered with two brother developers from Belarus that we do business with on other things. They've built this platform for us, and right now it would take us probably about 2 months to build a Shopify platform, a plugin to go to market.
And once you have this database or access to Shopify's database, how are you still getting to the business owner or the mailroom? Or
Really, what we're going to do is then online target companies that are using these platforms and using as sellers, forums, groups that these people who are on Shopify with their online stores are looking for advice, and just really target marketing those customers based upon them using a Shopify store.
Through digital ads or email
Digital
campaign
ads. Digital ads.
Do you
Are you
have
gonna
any
raise money?
employees?
Yeah.
Do you have any employees that are, and what? what's
No,
the
currently
timeline?
right now it's just me and my partners, and me and one other partner are pretty much the ones that just been going out to trade shows and really building the proof of concept, making sure it works. And we get pretty large accounts, and then now we're looking to really just scale this on a mass level.
Great job.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. Parcel Scan. Wow. Awesome job tonight, everybody. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you would, please, let's have another round of applause for all of our creators. Thank you. And how about for the amazing judges? Awesome. So tomorrow, we're going to make the announcement of 2 winners during the City of Coral Springs Unplugged event. One winner will be selected by our panel of judges, and one will be voted the crowd favorite. So please sure to attend the event tomorrow and vote. As a reminder, tomorrow's event will feature great local bands, music, craft beer by Funky Buddha Brewery, live artists, and all right here on City Hall's lawn from 6 to 10 p.m. It's going to be beautiful weather too, I think, right? So we'll see you all tomorrow, and let's continue to innovate downtown. Thank you.